Boom. All right, I'll say Joseph Skoda. I'm from the great state of Ohio, been a Toastmaster just over 8 years. And what I found, even though I enjoyed the Toastmaster journey and being in contests and working at different leadership roles in the club, and then joining other clubs to see what they're doing, it kind of came together with me. It gave me a whole different perspective when I got into the leadership role. Area director was still the funnest time I ever had as a Toastmaster because I was in the middle. I'm still learning the ropes and looking for the leadership above me and kind of going here, going there. But as an area director, you get to visit all the clubs. In addition, you get to start putting on the trainings and helping out with the contest. Whole different world. And back when I was area director, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 years ago, I don't even remember how long ago, I met Gloria Shishido when she was international director. I didn't know the protocol, what's going on. And back there, our division director of Division E back then, before we split, Division E director, Julie Boyce, I didn't realize I had 3 people in Santa Barbara area directors and 3 people in the Santa Maria area, including Paso Robles. And the 6 of us were working together under this division director. Didn't know what we're doing. We're just told, go here, visit this club, let's start with the kickoff. And I remember Gloria being invited to help us out one year. And I think we did a kickoff meeting maybe in Galita where we had about 50 or 60 people in the audience. I think she came with the Santa Maria and helped out there. And what I noticed, she didn't just come for a vacation. She came to work. She came, how can I help support your district? How can I support your division? How can I help support your area? And too many of us don't do that very well. We're just looking at a small picture. Now, Gloria, I don't know how long she's been in Toastmasters, obviously longer than 7 or 8 or 9 years to reach the levels that she has achieved. But 4 years ago, I had lunch with her in Hawaii. And we're just talking and chatting, sharing stuff outside of Toastmasters, sharing a little bit about her leadership journey. And a few months ago, maybe a year ago, I don't know, she twisted my arm. It's me in the side, say, you got to check out this club in Hawaii. Thankfully, we're all on Zoom, so we can check out clubs around the world. And not just Gloria, who's the president, and myself and Joy, we're all members of this club called Hawaii Comedy Central. And which was hard for me because you know me, I don't have a humor bone in my body. I'm always serious, straight down the line. I don't cross over very often. But I learned through different things called improv, where you kind of just make up things on the fly, where it's different than tabletop things. You're moving on and beyond our comfort zone. And a lot of us do that even in leadership. We're a little bit above and beyond our comfort zone, but things don't always work out the way we want it to. And that's okay, because we're trying to learn and grow and having the best time of our lives. Now, many of you know, Gloria's been around a long time, and she'll tell us a little bit more about her story, which is really important. But I want to read her bio real quick. Now, Gloria Shishido is a DTM, obviously, past international director, past district governor. Remember back when we had governors? And I missed that. I wish I could have been a district governor. But and also, after that, became a District 49 Pathways Guide. And she actually retired from the Queens Medical Center after 30-some years in clinical laboratory and human resource management. She also retired from the Hawaii State Center for Nursing as a project coordinator. She holds a master's degree in healthcare administration from Central Michigan University in Mount Pleasant, out in Michigan, of course. And she's been a Toastmaster for over 20 years. So that must mean you're 30. That's not bad. And Gloria's a member of Aloha, Windward Winners, I can't pronounce these Hawaii names, Lilu Kalani, Toastmaster clubs and different event clubs like Ahuki Kai, Pathway Central, Aloha Parliamentarians, and what I like, Hawaii Comedy Central, where she was the club sponsor. Then she's also the current club president. As a former Toastmaster National Board of Directors member herself, she was a working ambassador for the organization, for our organization, to develop and support policies and procedures to guide Toastmasters International. Now, Gloria has a passion for lifelong learning and making a difference. in the lives of the people she comes into contact with. She completed her DTM Pathways in Learning just in 2019, and she committed the competency. She is committed to promoting the competency-based learning program to all of its members. And she continues to provide pathways training sessions to clubs at DLI. And she's, believe it or not, she's actually back as a division director this year. She has a lot going on. If I'm not mistaken, she just earned another DTM in Pathways. I'm sure she'll tell us more about that. But everybody, put your hands together because this is a special treat for DTM Past International Director and my friend, Gloria Shishido.
Thank you very much, Dr. Skoda. I appreciate that introduction. But how many of you know what happened last week, Friday, October 22nd? It was a day of celebration for Toastmasters. It is 97th anniversary of the founding of Toastmaster International by Dr. Ralph Smedley in Santa Ana, California. How does that relate to this Asian American living in Hawaii? Becoming a Toastmaster, my journey began in 1998. Yes, a long time ago, way before most of you have been in Toastmasters. I walked into my first Toastmasters meeting, and I can still see the room. It had a long table in the middle of the room. There were faces all around the table, some friendly, some smiling, all of them warmly greeting me as a possible member. All of you have been there when you walked into your first Toastmasters meeting. I was very fortunate to be part of this group. I was not a charter member. However, I was the oldest member by the time that club closed. I gave my icebreaker, my very first icebreaker, and I have given many icebreakers since then, on March 3rd in 1998, on Girls' Day. If you're familiar with some of the Asian culture, it is the day we celebrate girls. And what happened is I then shared the story of my upbringing in an Asian culture and how it has molded me. I was nervous as I stood in front of the lectern, not quite shaking, but close to it. And I was so fortunate to be first, because if I had to follow and experience Toastmaster, I probably would have crumbled and said, forget this. The awe counter during his report looked at me and said, you had so many ahs and ums, I stopped counting. I was appalled. I said, oh my goodness. And in that club, for every filler word, you had to put a nickel into the cash cow. Some of you do it and some of you don't. Well, my pocketbook took a hit in the beginning of my Toastmasters career. It got awfully thin, and I soon learned to watch those filler words. It was kind of fun for me because I ended up enjoying myself at this particular club. I was a trainer, and I thought to myself, what are all the trainees thinking of this trainer who has so many ums and ahs? It must be kind of hard to listen to, don't you think? And then I knew I needed Toastmasters. The Toastmasters Club at Queens had a standard. You couldn't be a speech evaluator or a Toastmaster unless you've completed 3 speeches. I was in earnest to begin my experience as a Toastmaster. I practiced my next speech with my administrative assistant, and I wanted to interject humor. Even way back then, I knew that humor would grab people. So I practiced in front of my administrative assistant, and at the end, she looked at me and said, Gloria, you need to redo this speech. It's not funny at all. What? I worked so hard to put the humor in there. And she didn't think it was funny. Well, guess what? You know, humor is difficult for some and not so difficult for others who are more natural, like Joseph. But for me, it was, I had to really plan it. I redid the speech and it went much better the next time around. I was assigned a mentor very early on who showed me what I had to do to progress. Our membership was 20 plus, and we had a robust club. There was in this group another Asian American by the name of Gloria, and we called her Gloria K. I was Gloria S. Remember that now. And we were both interested in district activities. So we attended many district activities. In fact, she was asked to be a Toastmaster at one of those activities. She was fabulous, fabulous. She's a wonderful speaker. And she's still in Toastmasters in California in District 57. So as you can surmise, I was into district activities. And this particular district conference that I wanted to attend, because a comedian by the name of Frank de Lima was going to be honored as the Communication and Leadership Award winner. No one from the club wanted to attend, and I really wanted to go. So I said, I'm going. Regardless, I'm going by myself. I went to the meeting or the conference, and I sat next to this gentleman, and we started to talk. And he said to me that he was Lena Cara Hassan's husband. Everybody in the district knows Lena, except for Gloria. I didn't know who she was. It turned out she joined us later on in that afternoon. After a while, he noticed underneath my papers, there was this something that I was trying to hide, because by then we had robust conversations going around the table. And when I think back to that conference, everyone around that table did not know each other until we met at that conference. So it was interesting getting to know everyone at that meeting. Finally, Fred says, what is that underneath your sheet of paper? And I slowly took out a book, a paperback book. And he said, why did you bring a paperback book? I said, because I thought no one was going to talk to me. What a laugh. He says, Toastmasters is where you have great networking. Everybody talks to everyone else. You should never have to worry about not meeting someone. To this day, he still looks at me and asks me, did you bring your paperback book? And he chuckles. But he has gone on to better things, and so did I. At that conference was a very momentous conference because I got to meet the incoming district governor, who later became my district mentor. She saw something in me. And the following week, I got a call from the district leadership committee asking me if I would consider being an area governor. I told the caller I'd return his call later. I went back to my mentor and asked, have you ever been asked to be a district governor? And she said, no. I said, do you know what this is all about? She said, do you know the guy that comes every so often to our meeting and gives us notices about what's going on in the district? that's the area governor. I said, oh, he didn't make an impression on me, obviously, because it went right over my head. What can I say? And then when I talked to the caller, I asked him, are you sure you have the right Gloria? And he said to me, you are the Gloria that met the incoming district governor at the conference. Are you not the same Gloria? And I said, yes, that's me. And I thought to myself, what if they never ask me again for a district leadership role? So I thought about it and I said, I better say yes. And so I said yes. And I must say the rest is history. But let me share with you some of that history. As the area governor, I didn't know what the left hand or the right hand was doing. I mean, when you're first in that role, it's really, really difficult. And part of my first thing that I wanted to accomplish was to get to know my clubs. And that one particular club was named Liliokalani. I went out to see the club. It was located out in Kalihi, which is in the outskirts of downtown Honolulu. And they were meeting in a wooden shack. I drove up and I said, this is a Toastmasters meeting? I saw the VPE and he said to me, I asked him, I said, are there any members here today? He said, no, we're having a hard time. I said to myself, I see why you're having a hard time. You're out in the suburbs. There's no walk-in traffic. How are you going to build a club? I strongly recommended he move the location to downtown Honolulu, 1 block from the state capitol, 1 block from the business center, across the street from the Queen's Medical Center, so I can support him. And we may get lucky with walk-ins as well as people looking for a second club. And there were several people looking for a second club so that they could move faster in the communication track in Toastmasters. I mean, if you go to a club meeting and there's 20 people, it's a while before you get a chance to talk. Therefore, a lot of members joined a second club close to where they work so they can have an opportunity to speak. And the smaller the club, the more opportunities to speak. And we speak all the time. It was fun. And it ended up, I joined Liliokalani. It is now my home club because the Queen's Medical Center Club folded. Sad to say, I had to let that club go. I was the last one standing, and it was heartbreaking, but you know, sometimes you have to let the club fold. What I did do is I moved all the money from Queens to Liliokalani because some of us that were in Queens were at Liliokalani as well. So we moved the money to Liliokalani. So that's what you can do. I'm going to share my screen here. Slideshow. Being a Toastmaster. Here we go. Here's the personal story. So you heard my role as area governor. Of all the position, as Joseph said, it is one of my favorites because you get to meet the members. You get to go to the clubs. And let me tell you, to this day, a lot of those people that I met during my area governor tour are my friends today as well, as long as they're in Toastmasters. In 2010, 2011, the district governor didn't have anyone to go to the island of Hawaii as the area governor. So I volunteered and I said, this is going to be a challenge because I don't reside in the same area or on the same island. I have to swim to get there. And so I was the area governor. I enjoyed this year. We didn't have Zoom in those days. Therefore, we had a lot of conference calls, and I did travel to the island of Hawaii twice. I even drove from one side of the island in Hilo all the way to the other side in Kona. That's a drive. Trust me, that's another story for another day. We were select distinguished at the end of the year. I had selected my, I forgot the word, successor. That's right, successor. And during the year, something happened and she couldn't finish the year. So I said, since I had been the area governor, I said, I will finish off the year. And we were select distinguished once again. I didn't receive credit, but that's quite all right. I wanted to help the district. And so I became the area governor interim till the end. I took those clubs or that area to select distinguished. Last year, I was an area director, and I asked to be an area director. I wanted to complete another Distinguished Toastmaster Award. In order to do that, you have to serve 1 year on a district leadership position. And therefore, I had asked Seppi, our district director, if I may be an area director. She was looking around anyway. So I said, okay, if you're looking, I want area 8. I even asked for a specific area because I knew all the areas. I said, I want area 8. 2 of my clubs are in there. The other 2 I know very well. And so I became the area director. We ended up being President's Distinguished because I formed a new club by the name of Hawaii Comedy Central. And we put it into area 8 so that I could get the credit. And you can be a President's Distinguished area if you add 1 new club and you have 2 other distinguished clubs. We had 4 clubs there. We added 1, so there's 5. We had 3 clubs that were distinguished. So I was President's Distinguished area. Like I said, this was my favorite position and will be for a very long time my favorite position. This picture is a Christmas party that we had for Liliuokalani. You can see the smiling faces. We had a very diverse group. We had a lot of fun together. Have you thought of becoming a district leader? I hope you have, because guess what? Why should you consider being a district leader? Personal growth. Nobody can do that for you unless you yourself step up. The learning experience in a volunteer organization is stupendous because there is no carrot, no stick, but your own experiences will grow from being a district leader. You gain confidence in what you're doing. You build connections to people all over the world now through Zoom. You become a better communicator. You want to be a better communicator because it helps you not only in Toastmasters, but in your work, in your personal life, and you would be a happier person. Strategic leader. We strive to be great leaders, and as a communicator, it transitions or transforms you in your work experience. And lastly, but not least, you meet the Distinguished Toastmasters requirement. You have to serve 1 year in order to be a DTM. There's this gentleman in one of my clubs. In fact, he's in Liliuokalani and in another club. He's an excellent speaker, but he refuses to be a district leader. I said, you know that in the traditional, all he had to do was be a mentor or a sponsor. He missed out, even though he reached Advanced Communicator Gold, he never went on to be a DTM because he didn't fulfill the district leadership position. And I think he had missed an opportunity. You don't want to do that. These are the district positions that are available for you. Area director. I am doing the division director's position for the first time. I've never done it. And it's really funny this year, another division director, Ann Myers, who is a past district governor, we've never been a division director. So we volunteered ourselves to be division directors. So both of us are doing that particular role. Administrative positions, administrative manager, PR manager, financial manager. All of these are positions that are requirements for your DTM. Club growth director, program quality director, and district director. Now, division director, club growth director, program quality director, district director are elected positions. How did I become a division director? This year, I hate to say this, at District 49, there were no nominations. Boo-hoo, I was upset. As a former district leader, I was appalled. I went back to my incoming district director and outgoing district director, and I said, we got to do something. We had no area directors. We had no division directors. I said, we have got to do something. It was my Distinguished Toastmasters project, and that was to put together a district leaders search team. And we became a search team. We met weekly for about 5 weeks, and we called everybody who we thought were potential leaders to fill our positions, including the ones we filled. So we are appointed. At this point, past the business meeting, the division director can be appointed. So that is what happened to District 49. That is not what's going to happen next year, because I am sure Seppi, as the district leadership committee chair, is not going to let that happen. Stop share for a second and go back to my story. As you can see, from area governor, I went to lieutenant governor of marketing. Jump to lieutenant governor of marketing. There was no division director that wanted to move forward. I said, okay, I can do it. And I became the marketing, lieutenant governor of marketing. I went up the line, lieutenant governor of education and training, which is a club I always have club growth director and the program quality director, and now it's called district director. So I went all the way up. My team worked together. I knew how I struggled as an area governor, and so I made sure my area governors knew what was going to happen, what my expectations were. And I also asked them about their goals as well, so that we were in sync. We have to be in sync. Otherwise, why are we doing this? We are all volunteers. In the old days, the trios got to go to the region conference in June, and we were trained early before the convention. It has changed in recent times, but in the old days, we went to the region conferences. We knew who our counterparts were, and we trained together in June. So we would be hitting the road very quickly. And it helps definitely to have that training early. I was getting on a plane for Los Angeles one morning for a 2-day trip. It was a regional conference training. And this was early in the morning, 6 a.m. I'm walking in the terminal and I notice my shoe is getting loose. And I said to myself, what's going on here? As I'm walking, I notice my shoe is getting looser and looser. I turned around to look for a store that would be open. None was open. I finally got to the kiosk and I explained the situation to the cashier. I said, do you have any glue? Do you have any Scotch tape? My shoe is coming apart. I have to get on the plane. And this is the first trip I didn't carry an extra pair of shoes. She looked at me and she says, I have your answer. Masking tape. She gave me masking tape and she wrapped my shoe for me so I could get on the plane. I said to her, thank you very much. Let me pay you for the masking. No, no, no. I want to help you. And that's the aloha spirit, right? Everybody helps everybody else out. I said, thank you very much. I didn't tell anybody else what was going on. And what happened is once we were in the plane, I told my colleague, Kevin Doyle, guess what happened to me in the terminal? My shoes came apart. And I have to put masking tape on it. He started to laugh. And I said, it's not funny. I mean, I would have been in a predicament if the lady didn't have anything to help me out. For luckily, it was only one shoe. We went to our region conference and we had to learn a few things. As you may well know or may not know, they train you to be district leaders. And what happened is, as I'm walking around, I noticed my other shoe is getting kind of loose. And I looked down and lo and behold, my shoe was coming apart. Thank goodness I had extra masking tape. She gave me the remainder of the masking tape and I started to wrap my shoe. Kevin comes up to me and he tells me, I'm not getting on the plane with you. You can walk in ahead. I'll meet you at the seat. I said, nobody's going to notice my feet unless you point it out. My friend from California, who was a district governor, said to me, Gloria, I'll take you to Payless Shoe Store. I know exactly one that is close by. So I said, okay, great. By the time we got into her car, it was late. It was night. And I said, are you sure the shoe store is going to be open? And she tells me, yeah, it'll be open. And so I said, okay, great. Kevin, you sit in the front. I'll sit in the back. Guys like to sit in the front, right? Am I right? Okay, they like to sit in the front. So he's sitting in the front and all of a sudden, he's not driving now, but he's hanging on for dear life. And I'm going, what's going on here? And it turns out my friend was going from one lane to another lane, speeding down Highway 405. He was petrified. By the time we got to the shoe store, he barely got out of the car. And I was able to buy a new pair of shoes, threw away the old pair, and started walking towards the car. Kevin comes up to me and says, Gloria, you sit in the front seat. I'm not sitting in the front seat. I value my life. I'm sitting in the back. And so I sat in the front. And since there was no rush to go back to the conference, she drove at a leisurely pace down Highway 405 back to the hotel. So we laughed about it, and he said, it wasn't funny, Gloria, it wasn't funny. And that's what happened. We ended up going back to California. I went back to California as the past district director. In those days, the past could also join in the training in June. And our trainer that year was Gary Schmidt, past international president. And he would ask questions of everybody, especially the past district governors. He wanted to know what we learned, what we were going to do for the following year. I still remember his question to me, Gloria, what are you going to do? I looked at Gary and I said, I am going to make Kevin distinguished. And he looked at me, he really didn't have a comeback, but I then said, don't worry, we'll make it through. And sure enough, we had 3 years in a row of being distinguished. So we formed clubs, we worked together as a team, and we were distinguished for 3 years. I must say, as a team, we did really, really great. And so, as you know, as a district leadership, you get to go to conventions. And I have gone to many conventions. This is the last one that was held in person in Colorado. And this is our district leadership group. And you can see Joy there sitting next to me. We really did have a good time together. I also bumped into these guys at the Denver convention. And we caught up and said, hey, how's it going? Since then, I took a break from district leadership, but not totally a break. From 2008 to 2013, guess what I did? I was the conference chair for fall and spring. Would you believe I had a team that worked collaboratively? They knew their roles and we had fun. And we could put that convention, the district conference, together in a blink of an eye. It was awesome. Awesome. I had some key people that stayed with me the entire time. Maybe it was because after the spring conference, when we had our debriefing, I had it at my house and I treated everybody to a very nice lunch as a thank you. And we had a nice debriefing. It is fun. It is a lot of work, but I said to myself in Cincinnati, is that all I am going to do? You have to get out of your comfort zone, Gloria. And so the following year, I ran for international director. This was my campaign slogan. Kina Ole. It's a Hawaiian word, which means doing the right thing for the right reason, at the right time, the right way, for the right person. Kina Ole. There's also the starfishes there that represent giving back. And there's a starfish parable, most of you know about it, that you can make a difference to that one starfish. Kina Ole embodies our core values of integrity, respect, excellence, and service. As international director, I was able to visit districts. As Joseph said, this was my first time that I met Joseph Skoda. He was the area governor, right? Also, I met David too at this meeting. We gave a corporate award to Citrix. And that was really nice. We also, I'm trying to remember who the second recipient was, but Citrix was one. I can't remember who the second one was, but I remember going to that campus, and it was huge campus. And of course, you know, Citrix at that time had go-to meetings way before Zoom was ever around. And they had a Toastmasters club called Go To Toastmasters. So that was really nice. You never know who you'll meet up with. As you reflect on your Toastmasters journey, what are your Toastmasters goals? Will you overcome your adversity, fears, and anxiety? When asked to serve, will you take that opportunity to be a district leader? Here's the call to action. Be courageous. Step out of your comfort zone. You never know what will happen unless you do that. Find a mentor. I was very fortunate to have that district mentor. She was well known in District 49 as well as District 55 in Texas. She could build clubs bat of an eye. She was great. She was a wonderful mentor for me. And you can make a difference in someone's life. Volunteering is one of the things that I truly believe in, because I also volunteer at the Queen's Medical Center twice a week. If this is not a good time for you, let the district leadership know so that they can keep your name on a list and they will call you the following year. I have a list of people that I can call for next year that turned me down this year. I said, may I put your name down for next year? And they said, yes. Things may change in 1 year. They may still turn me down, but at least I have a list to begin with. Very different from the list that I started with, which was a big 0. Join me in becoming a Toastmaster and district leader. Make a difference in someone's life. Live a life lived for others is the only life worth living. This is from Albert Einstein. It is one of my favorite quotes. And truly, I believe in this because we are a small community and our community is getting smaller and smaller. We have to depend on each other to be successful, and we need to be there for each other. After all, Toastmasters is where leaders are made. Yes. And now I'll entertain questions, and please feel free to ask your questions. Yes, Vanessa, unmute.
I have a question, not so much a question as it is a comment. I think you're phenomenal.
No.
And you have been a mentor to me from afar. And I am reading currently a book called The Leadership Challenge. And it appears to me that you haven't had any challenges during all of the leadership positions that you've had. What do you say to that?
I did have challenges. Let me share with you that challenge, if I may. When I was district governor, my lieutenant governor of marketing was this young lady that we thought she was so gung-ho in Toastmaster, it would be a perfect match. We had a club extension chair who was my district mentor. She was going to mentor this young lady through that particular role, show her the ropes. What happened is that she was supposed to notify possible companies about Toastmasters, send out letters. And she said, yes, I did send out the letters. I said, you did? Oh, how come I wasn't CC'd? And then it came out. I said, we need to talk. There's something amiss here. And I, as a human resources manager in my work life, can spot something when it's not going right. We sat down with her and I asked her, I said, you can ask us to help you. You don't have to do everything by yourself. She said, but, and she hemmed and hawed. And it turned out she didn't send those letters out. She lied to us. In one of our trios, we said our number one value was integrity. Even before it became a core value of Toastmasters, we had it down as a value that we truly wanted to uphold as a trio. And she broke that promise. I sat there and I said, okay, we'll help you. How long do you need more time? We'll help you along. And she then said, okay, I'll get back to you. Well, I'll get back to you was a resignation. She resigned from that position in September. That means I couldn't put anybody in there for credit. So I had to ask the club extension chair, who was my club mentor, my district mentor, if she would take on that role. And she did. And so what I will share with you is that if you see a conflict, and we do see conflicts here, is to address it in private and be supportive as well. And try to understand that person's side of you. And yes, so it looks like we had a lot of fun. We did a lot of things together, but things do occur. And if it occurs, it is, and I told her, it's my problem, not your problem. It's my problem that I am not confident in what you're doing. Share with me how I can support you. So that was I thought, if I can get through that, I can get through the rest of the year.
Well, thank you for sharing your story and that response to my question.
Yes.
Any other questions for Gloria? I want to mention something real quick before we even go to the questions. I know a little bit today was about what's your tagline. And you've given us several taglines. Most people know mine was last year, developing leaders one at a time when I was district director. And that's kind of my tagline. But you brought up a lot of different ones that we could be talking about, like be courageous, make a difference in someone's life. Kina Ole, I don't know.
Right.
There's a lot of great things in there. A blink of an eye. You talked about, don't worry, we'll make it through. So many taglines you talked about that we could incorporate, like don't miss an opportunity. All those different things that we can develop in leadership. And as we move up the ranks per se, and up the chain, we're able to maybe make a bigger of a difference or fine tune what we want our tagline to be. And it all starts with leadership. We start with the club, I don't know, our sergeant at arms, and work your way up to where we are today. And I forgot to acknowledge our district leaders here today. Actually, Division D directors, Vanessa Phelps, I'm so glad she's here. Very awesome. And David Lohman's our logistics manager for District 33. Thank you, Dave. And Clarice, of course, we know is our District 33 director. And she loves when we tell her good morning. So make sure you tell her good morning very often. That's been the vision, governor, area governor, director, all that and all of above. And Joel's coming around, and Chuck's not just in Toastmaster leadership, but Speakersboro. So we're all doing some great things in the world. So develop your own tagline and make it count.
Yes.
And please give some more questions to Gloria. She's an expert.
Brittany has her hand up. Brittany, go ahead.
Yeah. Hey, Gloria. Wow, what a good story that you just shared.
Thank you.
And I want to thank you so much for sharing a presentation about what a Toastmasters offers in the District 33. And if you wanted to do the, so if you wanted to do, if you wanted to do the, to be, if you want to start to become a leader,
Mhm.
you have to be commitment, you have to be commitment in all of the Toastmasters clubs that you involved in becoming a member of the of each Toastmasters clubs, whether it's dual membership. And I'm serving a leader in three clubs, VP of Education, Sergeant at Arms, VP membership, and VP of Public Relations.
Wow.
And that's really a good thing. And I love serving the only favorite thing that I always want to serve in the Toastmasters club is VP of Education, because one of because Debbie Allman helped me with this, do the signing, do the agenda, and on the free toast host in it, and I never done the and as a VP membership, I have VP of the VP of Education. I haven't done the orientation for new members before, because it's very because it's very it's a hard work that we
Yes.
that I put into. After I do the agenda, I usually send out the agenda to the whole club at our about for our meetings and stuff, and I feel confident in doing the responsibilities as a VP of Education. Now, VP of membership, I always like to make phone calls, enroll new members, and do the guest list, create the guest list, and the second club that I'm in, and people people might be interested in joining the membership of the second club that I'm in, which is really amazes me, that I love to do all the three the duties of the club that the three clubs that I'm in right now. So so how long you become a area governor for Toastmasters?
How long? Or
Yeah.
the term is 1 year. Normally it's 1 year, from July to June of the Toastmasters year. And so I have done it for 4 times, not quite a year. So all of those positions that I shared are all for the Toastmasters year, which is July to June, July 1st to June 30th.
Yes, that's really amazing, and that really makes me become a better leader of
Mhm.
this of the Toastmaster clubs that I'm in. So anyway, good story. That's all I have. Good story.
Thank you, Brittany, for your comments, and good luck to you.
Yeah, thank you, Brittany. I just put in the chat box. We are now
Thank you.
opening up nominations and applications for District 33 leadership next year. So feel free to check out the link, find out the different membership and bio paperwork that's involved. And more importantly, there's a link there that tells you what each role entails and what kind of work is involved and what you need to know. And regardless of where you step into, you always have a support system. This is a great organization. Any other questions for Gloria as we wrap it up? I guess you told us everything we need to know.
Does she have
I
questions
love it.
for us,
And
Joseph?
yes.
I say, does she have any questions for us?
Ooh.
I know District 33 is the California side, right? Nevada is the one that's split off. And you all, Nevada? Yeah, Nevada split off, split off on their own. So I've been to Santa Maria, and that's where I met Joseph and David way back when. I remember that. And prior to that, I literally, when I was asked by Debbie Baker to come and visit, I had to look it up. I've never heard of Santa Maria. And I went, oh, where is that? So I had to look it up so I would know what to expect. But they asked me to fly into Bakersfield, and from Bakersfield, Debbie drove us up. But no, I don't have any particular questions for you all.
I tell you, I love going to the conferences, especially when Seppi and all of you come out from Hawaii and they bring little pineapple candies and so many other things. It's so exciting.
I
I
mean,
miss
the
that.
chocolate covered macadamia.
Macadamia nuts, absolutely. It's
They
if you've never
follow
been
us
to
around.
international,
Commissioners follow us around. We
yeah.
drop little.
And hopefully next year we'll be in Nashville.
Yes,
And we'll all
let's
be able
cross
to
our
enjoy.
fingers that we can be in Nashville.
Yeah.
I so want it to happen. I so want
Same
it to
here.
happen. Yeah.
Same here, same here. All right. Well, hey, Gloria, thank you so much for your time. I know
It
there's
is my pleasure.
a 2 or
Thank
3 hour
you.
time difference, and we deeply appreciate it. And
Well, you guys are what, 8 o'clock? It's
8
dinner
o'clock.
time for me.
It's bedtime for Jackie, but the rest of us will be up for a while.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to get my dinner ready.
All right. But once again, I put in the chat box, if you're interested in district leadership next year, as well as my email, feel free to reach out and get some of those questions answered, because we're looking for the best of the best. And that's why we developed this, get more out of Toastmasters series. And every month we're going to change it, switch it up with different speakers from who knows where. It's always going to be fun and good, but more importantly, it's going to empower you to take on the next challenge in your journey. So this
Right.
should be good.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
Bye,
Gloria.
Vanessa.
Aloha.
Bye, guys.
Aloha.
Good story,
Aloha.
Gloria.
Tina Ole.
Yeah.
Yay.
Woo-hoo.
Thank you, Joseph.
All right. See you next month, everyone, if not sooner.
Gloria.